Tonight, disturbing allegations against a local animal hospital. 6 of its former employees have come forward to the Team 6 investigators to talk about what they claim they saw at the clinic. Also, a former customer asking for an investigation after the death of her cat. The vet at the center of all this, denying, though, she did anything wrong. Here now is Team 6 investigator MYRIAM PET, who has spent weeks looking for answers.
This home video shows the last moments Alicia Morgan had with her cat LJ before she was put to sleep at Panda Animal Clinic.
You don't have to put that on. No tiene que poner eso.
In the video, she says she's asking the vet tech not to put a muzzle on her cat that is being euthanized. Morgan says LJ's fatal trip began more than a week before this video was taken, when she took LJ and her sister Azul to get declawed at the animal clinic in Hialeah.
This is our cat, and a few days after coming back from having its rear back claws removed, the cat has been very sick, vomiting often.
She was so sick, she was very weak, and she wasn't eating. She was already acting to me like she was dying.
Morgan says when she took LJ to Panda Animal Clinic, she was a healthy 7-month-old cat. She had her shots and had been checked by another vet weeks before. LJ had also had her front claws removed without incident at another facility. But Morgan says after the new surgery at Panda, the cat developed gangrene and renal failure. She complained to the veterinarian who runs the clinic, Dr. Haiti Perez-Tirse.
We did everything we could for this kitty cat. Nothing was done wrongly.
In a phone interview, Dr. Perez-Tirse told us the cat presented a blood clot in the leg, which is a normal surgery complication that could not be avoided. Morgan says she wants the case investigated and has filed a complaint with the Florida Board of Veterinary Medicine, alleging Dr. Perez-Tirse was negligent and incompetent in her care of LJ.
I put it to Dr. Pettis, you do the math, I bring you a healthy cat, you bring me a cat that's dying. I think you did something wrong.
Morgan is asking the board that the vet's license be suspended for a year, and she's not the only one leveling accusations against Dr. Perez-Tirse. This former employee who asked not to be identified shows the Team 6 investigators a needle he says he took from the clinic to prove that needles were being reused.
And if you see the needle, it's a little bent.
5 other former employees tell NBC6 needles were regularly reused, even if they were dull or bent, in order to save money.
We had a secondary doctor that we had at the clinic, and he would request, hey, I want you guys to use fresh needles because I do not want to be poking this animal 3-4 times, with the same needle, because it just wouldn't go into the skin.
I don't reuse the needles. I just reuse syringes, okay? We separate them, we clean them out, we reuse them again. They're perfectly fine to reuse at least one more time before they're discarded.
Dr. Perez-Tirse denies reusing needles and says the allegations are being made up by disgruntled former employees. One of those ex-employees showed the Team 6 investigators a picture of a plastic bin full of syringes and needles. A similar bin was captured by our undercover camera during a tour of Panda Animal Clinic. Ex-employees tell us that's where used needles and syringes were placed prior to sterilization.
And who separates these needles?
My employee, who's in charge of doing that.
Okay.
I have one employee that's in charge of doing that.
The vet vehemently denies reusing needles, yet a workers' comp claim filed in 2001 says an employee sterilizing needles in clinic pinched her right hand by an unsterile needle.
That lady did stab herself. I don't recall what she was doing at the time.
Whether she was sterilizing needles or simply pulling them apart, OSHA, the federal agency who enforces safety regulations, tells the Team 6 investigators used needles and syringes should never be collected in a temporary container, which is later emptied into another container. The Florida Administrative Code on Biomedical Waste also states that sharps shall be discarded at the point of origin into single-use or reusable sharps containers. Experts tell us the plastic bin we captured on video does not qualify as a proper sharps container, which should look like this.
So everything is single use.
The Team 6 investigators consulted with South Florida Veterinary Medical Association President Maria Oliveira and veterinarian and attorney Robert Foley. They cannot comment on this case, but say there are several reasons why needles shouldn't be reused.
If the needle is barbed at the end because of repeated use, it could be painful to the animal.
When you're reusing needles, one, you cannot clean them sanitize them or sterilize them properly. So if you're using one needle in different dogs, you can be, or cats, you can be transmitting diseases.
But according to former employees, Dr. Perez-Tirce didn't always have the best interest of the animals in mind.
When we saw somebody with a big, healthy dog, that dog was most likely going to be used as a donor.
Tomorrow, in the second part of our investigation, hear what these ex-employees say happened to some animals that came in for routine checkups. We should note that we spoke to a current employee and a customer off camera who praised Dr. Perez-Tirce's skills as a veterinarian. We also checked with the state, and she has never been disciplined. For the Team 6 investigators, MYRIAM PET INVESTIGATION PKG, NBC 6, South Florida.